Have you been in the museum before?
No. No.
So,
Was there something where they said you could get a tour or something?
yeah, I'm the curator here.
Right.
So I can show you around. That you came through our main gallery. You can see saw everything in there. This room is fairly new and still working on it a little bit. It's for the 50th Armored Division. And then that room in the back we did just finish probably 2 weeks ago is for World War I. And then further back here we have, if you want to go right here, we have the intelligent whale, which is really our
intelligent whale.
Yeah, our most unique piece is a Civil War era submarine. And I used some of the things out here because I was trying to rearrange and try to box up some kit items I had over here. So up here is there's a French 75 millimeter field gun. It was a French design, but it was American forces did field it, and so we do have other artifacts that kind of go along with that World War I exhibit that we have, including this painting, which was painted on drywall in Brigadier General Young's house. He was a commander of the 170th Refueling Group. So that piece is actually on drywall, not on
Right, not on a canvas. Yeah, I got it. Well, a lot of people have done that. Restaurants used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
Before they came out with this fancy wallpaper and everything.
Yeah. So I was trying to put away some of the gas masks and other kind of biological protective equipment. That is another one I just put together is the uniform and on a mannequin. It would be a multicam uniform, which is still authorized. It's still authorized up until next month, actually. It's a
changing.
ZPU KPV anti-aircraft gun, Soviet design, from Iraq, brought back after the Gulf War.
Doesn't look that big for an anti-aircraft. But then again, back then for the smaller planes.
It was designed in the basically the late 40s, fielded in 50-51. So it was it doesn't do much of shooting down aircraft, but it is still used all around the world on the back of like technicals, on the back of like pickup trucks. And
all right.
All sorts of areas like that. Yeah. The 81 millimeter mortar, M29 Alpha 1. That's another one. I'm still trying to get right. Things haven't moved in a decade or two. They don't always fit right. So I'm still working on that one. This is a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun. It's light enough it was able to go in gliders, airborne operations, used through the duration of World War II. And this is our most unique piece. You see an intelligent whale, which is a New Jersey native, and we're proud to display. You can go. You can take a look around at all you want, and then you can.
Okay, you can look inside it there.
The inside there.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Engine compartment and the crew compartment are one the same. It was ink crank. That's what that big crank is there. That'll turn the propeller. You see, so some of the.
I'll tell you.
Was that?
For as much as I know about boats and that stuff, it'd be a lot of work to power that thing by hand.
Absolutely. So, and like the stuff that the technical data, which I think is most likely kind of hit or miss anyway, notes a 10-hour submerged time, which maybe I wouldn't want to be under there. I wouldn't want to be underwater with this thing at all, to be honest. But 10 hours seems like it's really pushing it. But that was.
No. As long as you got the oxygen supply and everything,
Yes.
That's all it takes to be under, as long as you got the oxygen.
Oh, yeah, So this is still this is still cutting edge at the time. They're still figuring out the technology. It was built in 1863. It was built and designed for use in the Civil War. However, it never actually made. It wasn't fielded during the Civil War. It wasn't until after the war.
That's probably like one of the first subs they made too.
Yeah,
Close to, I mean, so that everything, it was all experimental then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only it's the only surviving Civil War era submarine. I have a picture here. So we're still reworking the narrative here, but you see a picture here. That's the Hunley, which is probably the most famous submarine of the time. It sank twice. Crew died in there, and then they were somewhat successful on their last mission. That they were able to sink a Union ship. However, they also damaged themselves and they sank. Crew died, and so that's a picture of it coming, basically being preserved for display. But this one did not sink, despite some of the historical narratives and reports of the time. It survived, and it's basically been in this shape since the mid-1860s. It's property of the Navy, but it's on permanent loan from them. They had it in their Brooklyn Navy Yard and then the Washington D.C. Navy Yard, and it's been on this spot since 1999.
I got one main question, I think.
What's that?
I can see that doing everything except one thing.
What's that?
Does it have a power scope? Whatever. 'Cause I mean, I don't see, like, I can see how they go. I can see how you move it in the water, but.
It just, so you see those little kind of bulges right there?
That's there. That's what they see out of?
Yep, fore and aft, and on each side, they have
wow.
those, and then in the middle, they have little,
Oh yeah, that ain't much.
it's not,
I say. Yeah. Right.
but you're not gonna be, they're not gonna be going so fast that they're gonna miss a turn for sure. And so you see the door right here, that was actually part of the design. That wasn't anything that's modified after.
Oh yeah, escaping,
Yeah, that's-
hatching.
So the idea was, the design methodology was that, so you see, cutouts here, and one in the front. Those would have anchors that they would deploy. There's a little picture of how it's, rough drawing of how it's supposed to work. So on submerged, you deploy the anchors from those spots, and you'd be able to. They were able to pressurize the cabin, and they were able to open the door and send a diver out there, and you'd be tasked with removing a mine or or placing a mine, whatever the mission was. And so that part worked. However, when the Navy had their real official test in 1872, the hatch on top there, you can see light coming through. It was not packed properly. It took on water. They surfaced underneath the dock, and the Navy was not pleased. They basically deemed it a failure about it. And so it basically sat. And so, so it doesn't have an illustrious combat history, but it is, like I said, the only surviving Civil War era submarine. And native to New Jersey. Built in Newark, navigated the Passaic River, tested on the Long Island Sound, so it's definitely belongs back up here. And so,
Yeah, I didn't even think they had submarines before the 1900s.
oh yeah, it's they're scary for sure. Everyone's still figuring it out, so definitely unproven.
We'll take it down to the beach and see if you can prove it.
Oh God, no. I was just getting our resident historian he just left it a few minutes ago. He was telling me that the Navy, along with PBS, were in talks about kind of reworking the sub and trying to make it seaworthy again and to try it out. However, that kind of fell by the wayside, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, it would be.
I wouldn't want to be inside.
Man, I just gotta get one of the modern mini subs they got.
Oops, sorry about that.
Which would be cool to do.
What's that?
Go down with a mini sub.
Oh yeah, I don't need to. I don't need to go underwater if I don't have to. I know the feeling of going down at like 20 feet, and I don't like. Everything's just feeling heavy. So that's a back room. But if you want I can show you around the rest, or.
Yeah, if you would.
Yeah.
You would, I appreciate it. So how'd you get the job doing this?
I just applied. It was posted online, and I was lucky enough to get an interview and get hired. So.
So you're not actually military?
I'm
I don't.
military.
You're in it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, so. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a National Guard member, but during the week I'm a federal technician. So.
Right. Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah, 'cause my son used to be National Guard, but I figured that this is completely run by National Guard, so it'd be like, it's only like if you're in the National Guard that you'd be working here. That's right. It's only how you got the assignment, but it's actually separate.
Yeah. So this is our main gallery. We said, so it really it basically chronicles the rise of the militia into the National Guard, and it really goes in a chronological order, basically from pre-colonial times. So it started off with artifacts dealing with the Lenape Indians, who were the residents of the Middle Atlantic coastal states. It goes into the colonization by the Dutch and the Swedes. So the Dutch had control of the area, especially in areas about like New Amsterdam, which later became New York. So that's basically, this is the rise of the first militia, which is basically the citizen soldiers, the guys basically taking out the populace to basically be ready to fight at any moment. And so we progress. This basically commemorates the French and Indian War, which is where we get the designation and the nickname for Jersey Blues, because their blue uniforms. And then this side here is a little bigger, a little more prominent, because New Jersey is the crossroads of the Revolution. So we have over 100 battles and skirmishes that took place in New Jersey. We have Washington's retreat from New York, and then eventual crossing the Delaware. So all that takes place in New Jersey, as well as if you've ever been up to Morristown, and been up to Jockey Hollow.
Yeah, I used to live in Parsippany.
Yeah, so you know that the winter encampments there in Fort Nonsense. So around here, the biggest, most prominent spot would be the Battle of Monmouth, which I don't think we have any artifacts from there. Right here. Yeah, that was. We have other pieces in the back that are from the battle. And so the two sides are these are the loyalists. So basically, those who didn't want to go against the British government, those who wanted to remain with the Brits, and these are the rebels, the Continental Army. And then this, as you're going forward in time, this deals with kind of the new nation after we won our independence. Really deals with the Whiskey Rebellion, in which New Jersey troops were called into service to kind of quell uprisings in Pennsylvania. They were called up to kind of, they essentially didn't want to pay the corn tax, and so Jersey Guardsmen, along with other soldiers, were called up. Here we go into the War of 1812. You can see there's, trying to see here with the, so America is still a young country, still trying to figure out their best course of action, and we have it's kind of some turmoil here internally as well as externally, when we have the French and the British start conscripting like forced conscription of our sailors. Basically leads down the road to war. And basically the most famous moments from that would be the burning of the presidential palace, which becomes the White House, and the sacking of Washington D.C., as well as Fort McHenry, in which we get the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
But we eventually do prevail. So there's basically still keeping with the major conflicts of the time, and this goes into the Mexican-American War. So you can see still Jersey Blues. And in each of these cases, you can see that we have firearms. So those first three firearms are reproductions. However, these are, starting from here, those are the real deal. Those are the model 1842 .69 caliber musket. Just excuse me.
Yeah.
What other units? But this rifle here, this musket I should say, was donated fairly recently. Was in, I believe it was Minnesota. Let me double check. Someone had it basically in their attic. But you can see right here that it's on the other side, it's stamped for New Jersey, so it was a rifle, a weapon that was actually issued to New Jersey volunteers. And you see, we have different displays of uniforms and basically engagements that New Jersey soldiers were involved in. And you see the Zouaves up there. You have to see, try to see the dragoons over there. So, there's anything else. And this also deals with Civil War, less well known. So this is a Brazilian weapon. So they basically had to use just about anything they could find because of how large the engagement was and how large the Civil War was. We also have small pistols, derringers, and the like that were of the era, little tiny shots, and then we have some other various other artifacts dealing with the Civil War. Going through time, I guess, so we get into the trapdoor Springfields. So these are the first breech loading rifles. So we have rifle bullets in the Civil War that are used with the mini ball, which is the most famous design. But then you're still jamming the bullet
Down the barrel?
Yeah, down the barrel. So this is the first U.S. weapon that's a breech loader. Well, the first standard weapon that's a breech loader. And as you see, those are the rounds right there, 45-70. So it was used and updated continuously. So these, I'll make sure I get this. These are, I want to make sure I get them right. So this is 1888, and that one, is that 1873? That arm was 1879. So they continually update them, small changes. But we have a whole bunch in the back. That's why I was just throwing off because.
Well, give me one.
Was that?
Let me get one.
Oh,
You got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. And so the New Jersey Guard, they're mobilized for the Spanish-American War. However, they don't go overseas, but they are mobilized. So this side kind of this is dedicated to the Essex Troop, 102nd Cav, as well as Seagirt, a little bit of the history of Seagirt. We did have some more. We had a little spot up there, but I just changed on the routine exhibit for 9/11. But we did have some more information about the actual Seagirt training facility and the history along with that. And so they do coincide. So we have that the Jersey Seal that came off of the governor's mansion. So the building up front at the gate, that was a building that was there before the governor's cottage. But the governor's cottage was torn down in 1973. I want to say it was a house that was at the St. Louis World's Fair. They took it down after the expo. They put it on a train and they reassembled it here. But eventually they tore it down. I have to look up the exact reason why they tore it down because there seemed to be some kind of controversy with why they did it.
Yeah, you think it'd be historical, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that building out there is also a relic, but that one's still standing. They're still supposed to be doing work on it. There are other buildings around that I believe you can rent out. Like people, let's see, like those RV spots that are over on the side. So people use this as kind of like a little tourist destination. And that's what it used to be for the governor. The governor used to come down here in summer, starting in, I want to make sure I get the year right. Was it 1885, I'm sorry. Up until Charles Edison was last governor of New Jersey to summer here. The governor still does make a stop down here. We're actually having the review, the annual military review. That's going to be next month. So Governor Murphy will be here. He just doesn't summer here.
Right.
He just stays in Drumthwacket, I guess. We saw the rifles there. Those are Krag Yorksons. Those ones are. They have the dubious honor of being having the shortest shortest tenure as a standard infantry or standard issue weapon. That and the M14 basically have the longest tenure as a standard issue firearm. There's a Danish Norwegian design, but it was not very quick to fire. Wasn't very accurate, so eventually fell out of favor. But I don't know. I don't really like them. But then we also have Essex Troop.
I don't like any of them nowadays compared to what we got now.
I like a lot of the older ones. These ones.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, they don't compare to what we got now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. There we also have, see the two opposing panoramic pictures of Essex troop. It's essentially from a few years back up to when they were it's supposed to be 100 years difference. So it's 1913 to 2013. So at that top one, they were the Woodrow Wilson's presidential escort, as he was the governor of New Jersey and the president of Princeton prior to his administration time as the president. And so that's a uniform. That's basically their dress uniform. Trying to think what else. This one it always gets a lot of questions. So this is one I threw up here personally because it was someone in the back. I just thought we had a soldier, a 29th Infantry soldier, who's in the World War I exhibit now. He was here, and we moved him, so we had some blank wall space. So I put up the Hindenburg, which is not American, it's not, obviously not Army. However, it's part of New Jersey history, since this painting basically depicts the moments before its crash. This is at Lakehurst, which is now part of McGuire and Fort Dix. They're one combined.
Oh, did they guys combine all in one now? I never knew that.
That's the only tri-service base in the entire DoD. So it's a unique spot, and I was just actually driving by this spot probably a month and a half ago, and then I thought it was neat that I driven past the spot of the Hindenburg's crash, and so I decided to put that up there. So that's why that's just something in the interwar period, because it crashed in the 30s, so it was just something in between basically World War I era stuff and then World War II. So this whole case, or this half the case, is deals with World War II, and so we got some the firearms are probably get the most love out of here. So there's everyone loves the M1 Garand on the bottom there. Old timers and new ones, newcomers alike, they love it. It's a famous weapon. It's an sturdy. It's not light. It's definitely heavier than our rifle now, but it's a nice, solid, reliable piece. And then up above those are the carbines, which are less loved, but were used. Actually, had a longer service life than the Garand full-size rifle. So we do have some pictures. We're talking about Essex troops. That's 102nd Cav. They're famous. You see that picture of the liberation of Paris is an Annie bulldog in front of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. That is from the 102nd Cav. But we do have other units that were there. We have 112th Artillery split to 695th and 696. We have 102nd Cav, 117th. We have 44th Infantry. Trying to think, I'm probably missing a few, but so New Jersey Guardsmen have a big presence in World War II. That picture of the plow there, that's a Rhino plow designed by Sergeant Keelan out of, I want to say I don't want to say he's from the wrong town. Where's he from? I can't remember off the top of my head. He's from, I want to say Maplewood, but I can't, it's somewhere around Maplewood. But so he's a New Jersey native. He came up with this idea to basically get through the hedgerows for all the armored units because of how Western Europe is laid out. They have all these massive bushes basically surrounding these fields. So it's just it's hard to navigate. It makes it easy for German troops to kind of flank you and surprise you. So he came up with that idea. He was applauded by Dwight D. Eisenhower. So it's a very, very important invention. We also have, this also goes along with World War II. This is a 1919, it's 30 cal machine gun. And the gentleman I was just on the phone with, this is his weapon, volunteer, and all the stuff that he basically set up, all the stuff that go along with kind of a neat little, you kind of feel like you're in a machine gun nest.
Right,
So-
yeah.
So you got spent rounds, you got C rations over here, basically the equivalent of our modern day MRE. It's basically just food on the go. I don't think you got I don't know if you left the cigarettes in there. I can't remember. They don't give us cigarettes.
He smoked them.
And so everyone's just like going right to the World War II going because and that makes sense because you see set up like this. You've seen like Saving Private Ryan. You know that Tom Hanks. He's got the M1A1.
And that was a good movie, but I hated it.
Oh yeah, why's that?
Because that's just what our military would do. Not that I don't care about like saving a guy or something. Okay, the mother lost two kids already.
Yeah.
So they figured, well, they can't let her take the loan, which was hey, that was great in a way, respectively. But the outcome of it is a tragedy because how many men got killed trying to save that guy, and he didn't even want to come back.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
a whole squad went down.
Yeah, and he didn't even want to come back in the first place.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I don't like
Yeah, I
about it.
understand. Yeah, it's a lot to ask, and I think that's what all those guys are wrestling with. But they did end up finding them, but it's just a I don't know. It's something that's it's definitely seared into people's minds. And
Yeah,
I remember that.
I mean, you're fighting a war anyway, so the people are going to get killed. They still are killed fighting the enemy.
Yeah.
But it's just the principle of the thing. Their mission was to save this guy and didn't even want to be saved,
Yeah.
like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So this just like the other case kind of deals with more New Jersey history. This actually deals with the separate battalion. So this was supposed to be an African American soldier. So New Jersey was they integrated before the federal army. They integrated their African American troops into the service, and that's what the first separate battalion was. Also here, and which is also shown on the other one, is the wreck of the Morro Castle. It's a ship that basically wrecked off the coast, right by where we are today. They eventually.
What's the name of it?
The Morro Castle.
Morro Castle. No, I haven't heard of it.
34.
'Cause I used to fish on the fishing boats, and we fished a lot of wrecks. That's why I was wondering, like, did you catch the name? No.
I'm trying to think where. So eventually they tried to tow it, and then it cracked. I think it ran aground in Asbury Park. I think there's a picture right here. Here's in Asbury.
Oh, okay. Oh, they never actually completely went down. And
No,
then
no,
they tore it apart there or something.
it
Okay.
was-
I was thinking, like you said, like it was out there and it sunk. you
No,
know?
it wasn't completely down, but they. You're showing the one. So there's a 119th Observation Squadron. That's where some of these. They basically helped kind of identify the wreck and basically just try to trying to warn people. And basically, this is before we have widespread communication networks. So we have, so we basically have biplanes doing it. So that's what these two. So it basically incorporates kind of the local history more in along with the Guard's history. And so this, just moving along here, this case is dedicated to the Air Guard. So we are the National Guard and the New Jersey National Guard. It's not just the Army; it encompasses the Army and the Air National Guard, which is basically the state-based reserve component of the Air Force. And so you see, like the jets outside; those belong to the 108th Tactical Fighter Wing, which has since become a refueling wing that flies KC-135s, but they did used to fly little fast little fighter jets like that out of McGuire. So the 119th, that lineage eventually ends up, they fly F-16s in or out of Egg Harbor Township, out of Atlantic City International Airport. So this is their lineage. They used to fly out of Newark until it became a little too much to, and so before they actually got any type of jet fighters, they did move down to Atlantic City, but they were in Newark until I would say 50. I can't remember off the top of my head. 53 when they eventually moved down to South Jersey. So with the Air Force was in its own separate branch until 1947. So kind of the air element still falls under the Army, and then will still fall under the National Guard at this time. But we do have other. So the 119th wasn't it was just an observation scholarship. It didn't go overseas, but it did do kind of domestic protection. As you can see, one of the pictures, basically just trying to. They did kind of try to spot for U-boats or any type of other activity off the coast. So we do have some artifacts or some representations of stuff from World War II, but that really deals with the commanders. So this is Francis Gerard. Eventually became the Adjutant General of New Jersey. He was a World War II ace. You see, well, actually, let me make sure that's the General Straits. I'm sorry, that one's General Straits. But General Gerard also did also fly in World War II. And so this is his flight suit. See, and then the other side is more going past World War II into the kind of the Cold War era. See the 108th, and also other elements of the Guard were activated for the Berlin crisis in the mid-60s. So that's basically what that's showing. So that F-84 is just like the one out there. That's what they flew over and were stationed in France, basically on high alert for any type of action against East Germany and the Russians. So we do have, like I said, we have F-16. That's basically what that's supposed to represent. That's what they fly now. It's a more. They do have newer helmets now that have heads-up displays and all this stuff, but that's essentially what they've been using for the past 20 years. Fly helmets just like that. This paint I put up, that I like that. I found it because it was, I think, shows an unknown history. So just like I talked about, the 119th was flying, trying to protect the coast. This is the 119th. Well, so it's 119th, still the same squadron, but they were the 177th let's see, fighter interceptor wing. So these are F-106 Delta Darts. The sole purpose of these planes were high altitude interception, and so that's a Tu-95 Bear. It was a Russian bomber. They will still do this up to this day. They will fly these big missions, and they'll just try to probe to see how fast the reaction time is. And so one of the missions of the 177th, along with other units along other coastal bases, was to protect the coast and react to any kind of Russian interference. And so that's what that is explaining. The New Jersey Guard is also unique in that that was they were the last unit to have the F-106 before it was retired. It's not, not a, I don't think, it doesn't really make it down into, I guess, monumental history, but I think it's a neat little piece, because it's a really unique jet from a specific time and place.
I think most of the stuff, especially planes that are like pretty unique.
Yeah.
With their military inventions as far as planes, the way they progressed and, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and only, something like this only would have existed at
The ones now are actually unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to be, you got to be a computer whiz in order to.
They don't even fly them anymore, actually, to get into where they're not even going to fly them anymore.
Yeah, I think, having a person.
They're all
touch the
remote
stick-
control. The whole
yeah.
mission's programmed
Yeah.
in the plane, and it
People
goes
can
off
only-
and flies it.
People can only mess up what the plane's trying to do. And so just going forward, this is, we do have other more contemporary artifacts. I'm still working on display area for that, but this goes into the Gulf War. So this is the Jersey Guard mainly served in a kind of supply function, quartermaster troops of transportation and supply out of Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Well, not Kuwait until later, but first Saudi Arabia, and then Kuwait once the Iraqi forces were expelled. We also have the 170th and the 108th who were able to provide air refueling assets. And so just here we have an M17 gas mask, as well as I like always seeing the chocolate chip 6-color camo here. And so the other stuff we have here is captured equipment brought back, just like that anti-aircraft gun. It's another captured piece that was brought back. And so the New Jersey Guard is still actively engaged. So yes, the best show of that is, so I put this up for September 11th, and it just shows that the Guard was responsive in the wake of the attacks. You guys protecting bridges, protecting power plants, other types of important areas that were under possible threat. We also have reactions by the F-16s out of the 177th, who were the first ones on station in the wake of the attacks in New York City. And so after that they continued flying missions to protect the airspace around New York. They are always on alert, ready to go 24/7. You also have the next room over here. It kind of hits on it, but it's currently being reworked. So we do have some maps and some paintings that are more of our depicts our engagements in the global war on terrorism, first in Afghanistan in Operation Enduring Freedom, and then OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom, after that. We have New Jersey units have been used multiple times, deployed multiple times. I'm gonna be like the guy in the multicam uniform that was seen on the bench, or the cot, that he'll eventually make his way out onto the floor, so he can, because that was the uniform they used in Afghanistan for contingent operations there. And so we even have soldiers deployed right now on various spots, some in Eastern Europe, Africa, and there's one more spot. But we've had guys constantly deploy, also go along with those air assets, the refuelers, and the F-16s out of Atlantic City. And
Were you in Iraq?
I went to Afghanistan.
You went to Afghanistan? All right, 'cause my son was in Iraq.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year?
Iraq wasn't long. It was only like, oh no. No, I mean, no.
Well, then,
Yeah.
03
You
to 09,
want,
and then we've actually deployed
yeah, it
guys
was,
after that.
I guess, pretty early. He's been, what was it?
Well, you said he's at the
About
Guard,
12
right?
years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that, 12, 13?
All right, so probably 06, 07.
Because right now you got out, and now he's an instructor here for the state police.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because he started working right now. Doesn't even know him here.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
But he was National Guard.
Uh-huh.
But he went over to Iraq, and they sent him. Well, actually, what they did, he was just ready to get out, and they extended him for a year and sent him over there.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Yeah.
So his reserves wasn't reserved.
Yeah, well, thankfully he made it back in one piece. So.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't really worried about him over there compared to what they had and the stuff we had. I mean, how many, compared to a war, how many of our soldiers really got killed in Iraq?
Yeah, I'm not as.
Look at World War II. We've had
Yeah.
thousands killed in one battle.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
we've had hundreds killed in the main part of the Iraq War.
Yeah, but you can say that, but it never. Yeah,
Oh, you never know,
Once
but-
that one person, those people do get hurt or killed, the numbers don't matter to me.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying,
Yeah, I
and
understand what you're saying, and there were a lot.
depends upon your job and all that stuff too,
You're
you know?
able to kind of protect yourself better with the armored vehicles and kind of the better protective equipment that we have. We have like 30 pounds of body armor, so it definitely helps out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, compared to like with those guys walking around basically with wool jackets as their protection. So I don't know if there's any other questions or anything else you wanted to see. I can.
No, that should be it.
I guess I didn't really mention about the cannon unless
right.
you read about it.
No, I didn't read it
No,
before.
so the cannon's a really cool piece because this cannon, and we actually have one in the back. They go along with that. You see that archway out there? Those were taken out East Orange Armory, windows being torn down, and so this cannon was restored. It looks nice and pretty. They were basically just staying out front, kind of as like a little display. So they restored it, made it look pretty. But then our volunteers who come here weekends and every Tuesday, they work really hard. They build everything around the cannon, basically to the spec, Civil War spec. It's the cannon's 1857 design. We know it's a modern or an early design because of the basically these two handles right here. Basically, to know that it's because they basically got rid of it after the first batch. So it's a 12-pound shot, and you have,
Pounds.
basically what would encompass a normal shot. You imagine that getting cold. And so this was not light, as you see. You needed a whole horse string to basically be able to pull something like this. So it's something I've definitely it definitely changed your perspective when you think about all the how we rely so heavily on the trucks and other types of equipment, power.
Now,
equipment
yeah.
like that. And, mostly in the military, you rely on your quartermasters to actually take care of your horses, because you need your horses to get everywhere and move everything. So it's this I don't know, it gives you. I don't know, I guess we're very fortunate to have all those modern amenities, I guess. Yeah, so that's, I think it's probably another unique piece that we have.
Oh, that's definitely unique.
So it's something we're very proud of.
That's cool.
Trying to move as much as I can, is that we are eventually going to move from this facility over to the building that's across from the gatehouse. Hopefully within the next year, but it's still up in the air, but we will eventually move
Is it
out.
bigger?
It's actually a smaller footprint, but this move's important because it will be more easily accessible to the public.
Right, rather than back here, yeah.
Like, you had to show your ID, and they had to you tell them where you're going and all that. But we'll be able to, the public will be able to walk on with fewer issues. Also, we got hit hard by Hurricane Sandy, and so you probably saw in that back room, probably where the water line was. So we had this whole building complex had about 5 feet of water in it. And so you just move just a little bit up the road, will be.
And to protect the exhibits, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely be, we want to get away from the water. So you saw like Stockton's right out there, and that it doesn't help our survivability if we're surrounded by water. So we're gonna eventually move there. So that's why I was trying to pack up all the stuff in the back.
That's cool.